with all due respect, I don't think you could say one thing that the Ukrainian military needs. But if you were going to boil it down, you would say the support of the people of Ukraine. You know, Ukraine is fighting a crisis in the east while it's trying to reform its entire governmental structure, including its military. So Canada's here as a partner. We're bringing experience here, and we're slowly building up your capability. The Ukrainian military is unrecognizable from 2014. It is incredibly more powerful and more capable.
What are the exact things you should think are necessary to improve?
You know, your equipment, some of it needs to be modernized. Your soldiers are paid well, but they probably need to be paid more. There's also the ability for your military organizations to learn how to fight together, either in the east or to train more.
What would be the things you've learned while being here, and what do you think the knowledge you've given to the Ukrainian soldiers?
So I actually have the unique privilege of working with some of the guys that are actively trying to capture lessons from the veterans as they come out of the ATO. And so we've learned a lot about how modify communications and how to modify their actions in the presence of UAVs. And so we've been working together to try and address new tactics to deal with that.
What was your experience with working with the Ukrainian colleagues?
It was really good. All Ukrainians I've worked with are always very friendly. They're very keen to get to know the person before they get into dealing with the job, which I think is something a bit different from our army, where we tend to jump right into doing a task and not necessarily spending the time to get to know each other. So I think that's a big difference.
What new knowledge you have brought?
What we've tried to do is to build on top of what they do and try to take the best practices out of what they do and incorporate some more of us, and then to increase the survivability of soldiers when they go out there and do their job.
What do you learn while being here?
So one of the things I've learned basically is to bridge that gap and get in there and share myself, and then to start a foundation, then we can build further from there.
And we also would like to, if you can ask a question about your experience while being here.
I'm the J5, I'm the plans officer. What we do is we attend meetings with the general staff of Ukraine, and from there they identify to us, in accordance with the Security Defense Bulletin, their reform goals. And then Canada takes those reform goals from the Ukrainians back, and we look at the capacity that we have, the capability that we have on the ground in accordance with our strategic guidance, and we figure out the best way to assist the Ukrainians in their reform goals. Ukraine is very eager and they're very motivated to change. They have a professional army that is very capable, they're very skilled, and the motivation and that their want, their desire is critical for us. So for me, Canada can't do it alone. We have such a big footprint and such a capacity here, but without the Lithuanians, the Poles, the Americans, and the Brits, us all working together holistically to help Ukraine achieve those defense reform goals, that no country would be able to achieve those effects without working together.
What message you would pass to your to the new rotation?
We're not trying to make it Canadian. We're not trying to make it from the UK point of view or the US point of view. We're trying to take our skill sets and enable them. So we have to let the Ukrainians have a voice. They have means, and there's so much substantiation behind why they do things a certain way, what their mentality is, that cultural piece, and you have to respect that, even though it differs from us. But that's why I think Canada is so important here, is because we have such a large Ukrainian diaspora back in Canada, and the ties are very deep. So for us, it's quite interesting respecting that culture and being able to apply our effects in a positive manner here.
Difference you seem like which is needed to be respected.
Right, Ukraine has been the borders of Ukraine have been disputed since the 1100s. For us, our borders have not been as disrupted and so controversial. So Ukraine has expanded and shrunk over centuries, and that makes you guys who you are. So us as Canadians coming in and respecting that piece of your culture is very important.